the video. Hi, everyone. I think we're live. Hey, let's wait for the count. Hello. Welcome to
Thanks for
nothing. So much better. Almost missed it though. I was just talking to Denise behind the scenes saying, or she said, if they could only see behind the scenes. And while I was saying that, I forgot to put up the countdown. So you saw a moment of behind the scenes. My name is Shari Denise, in case you have no idea who I am. And the amazing woman next to me.
Who am I today? Let's see which one of my characters. What character do I want to be today? I will be Denise Povernick. How about them apples?
Ooh, Denise Povernick. Yes. Thank you to everybody that is tuning in live today, whether you're watching on Facebook, whether you're watching on LinkedIn, YouTube. Where in the world are you actually watching from? I probably forgot one place, but hey.
Where in the universe are you watching from? Why should we just limit it to Earth, right?
Well, that's true. And interestingly enough, I almost wrote universe as I was typing that out today. So there you have it. Who's watching with us?
Hello, peoples. Let's hear you. Let's get this party started.
What's up?
Yeah, welcome. Looking forward to it.
Yes. So the first thing that we want to tell you, and I want to be sure that you do this, make sure as you are tuning in with us today and playing with us today that you have a pen and paper handy, because Miss Denise is going to take us on a wild ride. So if there is anything that you have been, whether it's stuck or you just can't seem to find that answer, Denise is going to show you how you could just pull it out of thin air, wherever it came from.
Pull it out of thin air.
She froze forever.
Am I there? Am I unfrozen? Do I have to let it go? Let it go? Are you wishing it was next week and Rich was here already?
No. I appreciate each of you for your own you-ness. With him, you would be surprised. I don't really... Go ahead.
See, here we go. You know what? Last week when I'm sitting and watching you two, you have such this wonderful banter that one waits for the other to finish.
But I will but I will say though, I still barely get any words in between the two of you. For as much as I can talk, I'm just like, go ahead. Yeah. I'm just here to blow bubbles and look cute.
So yeah, my unicorn is named Eunice just because it represents your Eunice.
Oh, I was like thinking eunuch. I was thinking Eunice, like reverse. I don't know.
Come back to the Come on, come back to the universe.
Yep. I also was going to say something else too, but that's all right.
Where's all the peoples at? Come on, people. Where are you?
Where you are. Say hello if you're watching here live with us.
Yes.
Well, a lot of people watch the replay, so they are.
We usually have a nice crowd here live, so I'm gonna send out a vibration. Where are you guys at? Let's go. There we go. There's Dana. Dana just hopped on.
Well, I'd like to say for all of you that are here, we highly appreciate your presence.
Yes.
Let us know how you're feeling too. Hey, Dana, I didn't even say, I just put your comments on the screen. What is up? What is going on? So who here today specifically, as we dive into this, has perhaps something in your life, I don't know, what would you call it? Like some unanswered, something. I'm very wordy today. Something that has been itching at you, or some confusion, or what you deem as confusion or stuckness, and you're wanting to get the answer to. Let us know in the comments. Ooh, Kathy, hello. What's the topic? She has her coffee ready.
All right. The topic is pulling the answers out of thin air, because that's where everything comes from anyway. You just don't realize it. So now we're going to do we're going to have a little experience here today because I'm all about the experience, right? So Sherry's all about the experience now. And Sherry loves improv. So if anybody has any improv stuff to invite Sherry to, make sure you hit her up, get her up on stage. She is the queen of improv. She loves it, loves the extra points for her. She loves it, loves it. She's going to kill me.
She's trying to hypnotize me into loving it, into being more comfortable with it. Well, what's interesting, and I know this for every, that is just a story that I have created again and again and again, because I already know as I'm talking right now, I have not thought of anything that I'm saying right now. And I'm naturally amusing.
Yes.
So,
you're very amusing.
At least I am.
Hours of amusement for me daily.
I have a mirror across from me and I just kind of like look at myself and I make funny faces. I'm like, if I can just get on stage and make funny faces, like that would be enough.
It goes back to that saying, there's never a mirror a Leo doesn't love. Just saying.
Hey, Jennifer.
I'd like to meet one.
Awesome. We got brand new peeps watching with us today. I love it.
Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Kathy. Dana. Amen. Hello. All right. So how do you pull answers out of thin air? So first we got to formulate the question, right? Because I knew you were going to ask me that question. So I'll let you ask me that question. Go ahead and ask me that question.
So what specific, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Oh, so a question that I specifically have. Is that what?
Yeah. So really people think they're asking a question, but most of the time, especially when people come to work with me, their questions are so vague and hyperbolic that when you ask vague questions or make vague statements, you get vague answers. So really, before we even go into the little experience, the fun thing, the little exercise we're going to do to pull answers out of thin air, you really have to know, and this is about knowing what your done deal is, knowing what you want, knowing what you want to appear. If we could wave that magic wand, and that's what this kind of is, because we're activating it, right? Any kind of attention that we're giving to, we're activating it. So, and it's sort of like, when you're talking about that movie and you want to, that actor, Sherry, that actor, what was his name? And you can't remember the actor's name. You've activated it. And especially when you're really putting some of that energy, that focus on it, and then you give up because it's just not coming. And you're trying to explain that actor the best you can, but nobody's getting it because then you can't even remember the movie. And then 3 days later, you're driving home from the store and boom, not because anything had anything to do with that actor. Finally, the space was given and it shows up. So that's kind of exactly what we're doing here, right? When we have the question, or you can make a statement. It can be a question or a statement, just one, very clear, very concise, very specific. And how it shows up is none of your business, or when it shows up is none of your business, but roughly about within 3 days of asking it will.
So let me ask you, so can you give everyone an example of like a general question and then a specific question, what that would look like today? Because what's specific to me may not be what you're asking.
Yes. So, let's just say you have a business and, you're stuck. And if the question is, what's my next step in my business? Well, that's really vague because it could literally mean taking a physical step.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And it's a valid question, but because this is just imagine going into Google and putting a Google search. What's that actor's name? That would be the equivalent of putting that in there.
Okay.
Right? So even if you said, you can get more specific, what's that male actor's name?
Right.
And then you can get even more specific. What's that male actor's name with brown hair? So yes, you're still really vague and hyperbolic, but each layer that you're adding is eliminating possibilities. And when you're dealing with infinity and all things are possible, what you're doing by really getting direct with your question is you're taking from the possibilities to the probabilities, making those things probable and eliminating all the ones that don't meet your match. So it's really stuff that we know how to do and we do. But sometimes when you're in the midst of the problem or challenge, especially if it's one that's anchored with emotion, you think you're being clear, but you're not. And that's why it's important to write these things down.
Got it. And it's, go ahead.
Well, no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to expand and say something being so true. I think I remember what I was about to say.
That's it, right. So what is your question or statement that you want answered today?
it's interesting because I went from being very general to like, okay, is this specific enough?
Well,
So
let's see. Let's see.
yeah. Okay. So my next question, or my question would be, what would be my next, actually, who should I reach out to? What type of person should I reach out to in order to, well, who should I reach out to in order to bring my television show in development to take it to the next step?
Okay. So and that's a good launch. And you're probably going to do at least 3 or 4 or 5 revisions of this question before you. So what type of person? So what are you looking for? Are you looking for a producer or are you looking for a director? Because then you can change that type of person. Who is the director? See how that's much more specific.
Yes.
Right. So can now you revise your question?
Yes.
Because you know your topic better than I do.
Yes, I know. It's just sometimes the cart comes before the, like, you can go in any direction here. Definitely not a direction.
And that's the thing. Just pick one, because you can go back and do this for other. You can do it if that in a day or two doesn't get you your answer, then you can go back and do it again. But you don't want to have too many similar ones activated, because when the answers come in, you won't know which one it belongs to. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm trying to figure out, because if I say something like, what producer should I reach out to? Am I going to find a specific name? Or because I'm actually, the answer I'm seeking is, should I be going towards a producer for the show or towards a network?
Okay. So between the two options right now, pick one that feels higher resonance with you in this moment.
Actually, something totally different.
What came in?
So, like an investor, a sponsor who believes in the show idea.
Okay. Yeah. So, and so this is the really cool thing about going through this process, because as you go through this process, so you look at, you're in the hot fun seat and you're loving it. But you thought it was the two of those. And here's this opportunity for your subconscious mind to go, no, I know even better, because I can see the whole bigger picture. It's this. And you being open to go, oh, it wasn't even those, it's this.
Yeah.
Because if that's the path to least resistance, because you will have a producer and you will have a director, but coming at that angle, there may be less attachment to the outcome.
Yeah, and there's more creativity in it for me to then be able to choose who I want to work with if I have the money.
Okay, so now give me the question with the investor.
So, okay, but I'm gonna ask a question for a question. Can it be a specific, like, who should I reach out? What so
you can get to, and then this, I'm going to lead you down that path. So let's be where we are and we'll get down that path.
Okay. So where should I be looking to find an investor that will invest in
so the answer to that question is going to give you a location. Do you want a location or do you want the investor?
I don't know if we're literally going to be able to find are we literally going to be able to find the investor?
And I'm so glad you did that, because that's what most people think. That's so way too specific for me.
Yeah.
No, because if I'm going, what's that actor's name? I'm not looking for a whole bunch of actors in the whole movie. I'm looking for one actor's name.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for your one main investor, you could have multiple ones, but your subconscious knows you want that big one. That one that gets things moving, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So who is the name, or what is the name of that initial investor that, gets things moving or progressing?
So who is the person that will be investing in my television show?
Okay, good. So write that down. Now
that's there.
So the question always comes from the jump off point, or the starting line, or the character of the starting line.
Let me put on my cute glasses.
Okay.
Who is the person? Do I look cute now?
Yes. Okay, right. Is everybody following along? As you're following along with this, whether you're live with us now or on the replay, put in the comments, what's your question? Right? I can take a peek at it. Do you need to get more specific? And the universe does not infer. So that's why the more specific you are, it knows how to, if there are 1,000 different investors, but you got specific enough in your question that it can narrow it down to one, it will bring that one.
Okay, so literally, who is the person that will invest in my television show idea?
Yes.
Okay.
But invest in your television show so that you can, what would be what, so you get this money, it comes, what is the first thing you would do? Because we want to have movement in the question.
Yeah, I would hire a team.
Okay. So what is the name of the investor that invests in my TV show so I can hire my team? That's really specific compared to what you first started out with.
Okay, let me rewrite that and you keep talking.
Okay. I'm just watching you write. I'm watching the wheels. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Write your thing down.
Wait, see, and I got to run this too, though. We got a comment here.
Yes. Yes, I see that, Lynette. Wonderful. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay,
yeah.
good.
That's why we do this, because we love doing this. And this is my joy, is to help people get clarity, because when you know that you have such clarity in your jump off point, then you know what to start looking for the answer. And how it shows up is none of your business, because you know that it will. So when we get into your done deal, we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so once you got your question down, read it out loud again.
Well, I was trying to concentrate and I'm hearing you. TV show so that I can hire my team. Thanks everyone for playing along with us. So what is the name of the person who will invest in my television show so that I can hire my team?
Okay, wonderful. Now, that is a starting line character that doesn't have the answer to this, right? That's why it's in the question. Now we're going to shift into 3 months after the fact that the investor has invested and you've hired your team. Now you're going to make a statement from the done deal version of you.
What else of a name just came to me?
Write that down, whatever comes, just jot down. Okay, remember, did you jot that name down?
Yeah.
Okay. So remember, a broken clock is correct twice a day, right? So sometimes you are going to get a direct hit, and that direct hit will be boom, that'll be it, right? And you really don't even have to go any further, but let's play along today, because sometimes it may not be that person, but because you don't know who it is, but it's a lot like that person. So that which is like, okay? So now we're going into the done deal, where it's 3 months after the fact that the investor showed up, invested the money, and you hired your team. Let's make a statement from that character about the investor. And I'm not asking you to name them, but what in appreciation could you say about that investor 3 months after the fact, as you've just sat there and your first episode was shot and you're looking at your team and how wonderful your life is, and this is amazing, and wow, 3 months ago I was just asking the question, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you say about the investor from your heart?
Oh, so what I loved about my investor is that he believed in me from the start, and he gave me pure creative freedom. He just believed in what it was that I was bringing to the world. And so he said, here you go, have at it.
Yeah. So write that down. Write that down. And I always say you can also record this, but write it down as you're recording it, because your pen or pencil is your magic wand. And you are now literally, we didn't even do the exercise yet, but I guess this is part of the pre-gaming for the exercise, where you're taking something out of the invisible that wasn't even a thought in your mind 15 minutes ago, and here it is. Or maybe it was a thought in your mind, but now you can see how you're getting clearer and clearer and clearer as we go.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question for those who are tuning in. Is there a possibility that maybe if someone wants to come on and do what I'm doing, that we could do it with them? Because it seems really fun and helpful. Just saying. Think about it. Or those of you watching. Okay. So I'm so appreciative of my investor who, oh, sorry.
I'm so thankful and grateful and in deep appreciation for my investor. And now we know he's male. So we've eliminated all the females.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So your initial mess.
The producer can be female, just so y'all know.
But here's the thing. It wasn't even a thought. It just came out. So you're already speaking from experience. You're not having to guess. Is it male? Is it female? And there's no judgment. What comes out comes out. Mm-hmm. And that's what the pure flow is. And you may need more than one investor, but we're just talking about the initial one.
Okay.
Right. All right. So you got all that down. Can you read back what you've written down from your 3 months after the fact? The done deal happened and it's 3 months later, and you're just sitting in deep appreciation. What are you saying?
Creative freedom. Okay. I'm trying to do so many things at one time. I'm so appreciative of the investor who believed in me and what I was bringing to the table and allowed me to have 100% creative freedom.
Awesome. How's that feel?
So good.
How does it feel differently than asking the question? Now, it's not, neither one is good or bad, but it should feel different making the statement versus asking the question. So what was the differentiation for you?
Well, I mean, the question, the one that we finally got to, you mean, or the initial?
No, the one we finally got to.
I mean, this one just feels good.
Yeah.
That one was like more of like a little confusion, you know, like who,
right.
and, you know, and this is just like, yeah,
and
this is a big deal.
Yeah. And this is where your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference that we're still sitting here in the initiation phase. Because once you start feeling 3 months after the fact appreciation, you're activating those outcomes. You're activating those timelines or storylines, however you want to call them.
So
Declan's here. Declan's here. He's going to jump on.
It'll be on soon. I just posted it.
Awesome. All right. So we'll wait for him to actually do the experience, right?
Okay.
And hopefully that he's kind of been listening along the way. Yeah. Just keeping in mind time.
Oh, you know what else feels good? Sorry. The difference between the first one, well, the first one is that I was, you know, obviously unclear of who I even reach out to. And now it just feels like, well, of course, it was your investor all along. And I even know his name.
Right. And then that's the thing. Not only did we know it's male, you had a name come to you. And again, don't put so much attachment that it has to be that name, right? Could be another person with that name. Who knows? But the very fact that you're starting to feel fulfillment, you're starting, and that's what we really want to get you to, is feeling the fulfillment in the inception, because the energy at inception is the energy of fulfillment, and they're the same thing.
Ooh, did y'all hear that? The energy
is powerful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really,
I don't know if I can repeat it, but I just want to say some word.
Yeah.
The energy of inception. The energy of inception is the energy at fulfillment.
Right. So if at inception you're confused, then you can only have fulfillment of confused outcomes. You can't start in confusion and expect to have clarity in your outcome. You have to have clarity in your inception for clarity of your outcome.
Okay, but what do you say to those who, like, so where I first started, right? Like, so it was very general. That was inception, or that was just brainstorming?
Well, yeah, if that was, what was your initial one? What was your?
Who do I reach out to for the next step in getting my television show?
Okay, so every question has an answer because there's always balance in the universe, right? Mm-hmm. It's just you, because that question was so vague, you would not know it if it showed up specifically in front of you. Right. And that's why people say they're stuck. It's not that they're stuck. They're sitting in vagueness. They haven't clarified. They haven't niched down. You know, when we talk about niching down your clients, well, you got to niche down your ask.
Yeah.
Because if you've ever seen any genie movie, you never want to give the genie the opportunity to figure out what it is that you mean, because they have a warped sense of humor, right?
I know. I'm sitting next to one. And what a warped sense of humor it is.
There we go. Yeah.
So no, that's powerful, because what you just said, though, I want to repeat that, in like that I would never know if it was so general. Like that person could literally be showing up, but I wouldn't know because I didn't have a clear idea of who it is that, you know, I'm attracting or who I'm looking for.
Right. So there, when you ask, well, and again, it's no longer even an asking of a specific question, because now when you've taken the question and you've made it a statement, it implies fulfillment. You're already talking about the outcome 3 months after the fact that it happened, and you can only speak from there after fulfillment. But your subconscious mind doesn't care if you're where you are now in inception or you're actually in fulfillment. It's the same. It's just as real. So we're kind of tricking the subconscious mind to we believe as the conscious being here that it's that done. It's that, because I always say to people, what part of done deal don't you understand? Why is there still doubt? Because then you're not in a done deal. Because if it's in a done deal, right, it's done.
Right.
Right. And you're never separate from your outcome. You're never separate from your starting point. You're the one that starts. So if you're never separate from your starting point, you can never be separate from the outcome.
Right.
You just got to give yourself points of clarity.
Yeah. I was just going to say, this was a different character playing this because I'm already gotten this. So just saying.
Okay. So looking at time frames, I would love for Declan to be on board, but we really should start to move into the exercise part of this.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. All right. So now what you're going to do is take another piece of paper out. right? Clear piece of paper. And we're going to play improv, word association.
Oh, that wasn't improv?
Well, it sort of was, but this is the actual, that was the pre-gaming for the exercise.
Because I was like, this ain't bad. I could do this improv.
Yeah. But so what we're going to do is you're going to put, and however you want, you can do 1 through 20 on one side of the page, or you can do 1 through 10 and 11 through 20. But you want to number them, and they're in random order. They're just in random order, but just so that you know that you have 20 spots to fill. Now, I'm going to go through this list one time. And if you're doing this on repeat, you don't want to go back. So if we do, it kind of reminds me of password, right? When they got, and they have 10 letters and you can come back to it. If you don't have an answer in the moment that you hear the word, then move on to the next one. And do not go back and try to, because it's not needed for the exercise, because if it was needed, you would have gotten it. So I'm not going to go terribly slow, but I'm not going to go extremely fast.
Okay, I want to know if anyone's playing with us. If you're playing with us, let us know in the comments. Make sure to invite someone along. Share this, because what we're doing is really giving people the opportunity to what are we giving people the opportunity?
Pull answers out of thin air.
Right.
Okay. Right. And this is so much fun. Okay. So I'm going to give a topic, and you're going to write the first thing as soon as you hear me say it. Don't think about it. You know, if I say country and you say spaghetti, don't put Italy. If I say country and you say spaghetti, put spaghetti.
Okay. Am I saying it out loud, or I'm just writing it as you're saying?
Right. It's not about being logical. It's whatever. It's word association. When I say this, what comes into your mind? Boom, write it down. No thoughts. Okay. All right. So we're going to do this for 20
When do
minutes.
I skip? Sorry. When do I skip if there's nothing that's coming?
So if I say country and you're like, and I'm already on to the next word, then that's an automatic skip. Okay. All right. Yes. But I'm not going to give you too much, because it should be automatic. Okay. And I'm not going to go number 1, number 2. I'm just going to go down the list. So don't worry if you put number 4's answer and number 3 because you skipped, and don't worry about any of that. Okay. Okay. All right, guys, let's take 3 deep breaths first. Let's get ready for this.
Okay, let me put my feet on the ground.
Just because the rest of your life depends on this outcome doesn't mean there's any pressure whatsoever.
She is making fun of me. I have to spin.
Oh, you know what? So do I. So let's spin. Give us 3 seconds, guys. We'll both go off screen.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. 3 spins. 1. Okay.
This is the worst show ever.
There we go. Both the hosts leave for no reason whatsoever.
Where'd the hosts go? Okay.
And most people who work with me know what that was all about. But don't mind us.
Everyone else is like,
randomly get up and spin simultaneously. That's
somebody's thinking, who would give her a show if she leaves it?
Could you imagine in the middle of your show? Sorry, cut. I got to. Everybody stay. You have the whole audience spinning with you.
I hope you guys are laughing with us right now. Okay.
We're laughing at us right now.
Why I know. I just like to bring people along for the ride.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
And we're also trying to buy a little time for Declan.
Oh, maybe
That's all right. That's okay. All right, I gotta pull up my list again. All right, so 3 deep breaths.
I'm busy fixing my
3 deep breaths. Get yourself nice and centered, and I'm going to start with the list. I promise this time. Okay. Pens in hand, on your mark. Get set.
Let me get my 3rd breath in.
Okay. Female name.
Huh?
Female name. I'm not going to repeat anymore. Type of pet. Job. Age. Tool. Food. Drink. Month. Male name. Zodiac sign. Activity. Goal. Action step. Aha moment. Pet name. A desire. Money amount. Time frame. Smell. Fun event.
I only missed 1.
Okay, that's all right. And if you miss 2 or 5 or even 10 of them, that's okay.
I know, but the studious one in me is like, I only missed 1, and it was because I didn't understand you.
And the reason is that if you missed 1, it's not needed, because if it was needed, you would have had something come to you. So this is where you got to trust, right? That you're always given exactly what you're needed. So can you, I'll say them now and you're going to give me your answers.
Okay.
Okay. Female name.
Marcy.
Type of pet.
Cat.
Job.
Housekeeper.
Age.
36.
Tool.
Hammer.
Food.
Pizza.
Drink.
Coke.
Month.
July.
Male name.
I didn't hear nothing.
Okay. Zodiac sign.
Leo.
Activity.
Running.
Goal.
Fame.
Action step.
Walk.
Aha moment.
Self-love.
Pet name.
Rambo.
A desire.
Money.
Money amount.
$1 million.
Time frame.
3 months.
Smell.
Rose.
Fun event.
The roller coaster.
Okay. So now you're going to take your answers, because you weren't writing my prompts down. You were just writing your answers down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to take about 10 minutes. And while Shari's doing this, I'm going to just gently throw out some reminders as you're doing it. It's not going to be a complete flow of talking like I'm doing right now, but you're going to make a 2 to 3 paragraph little story based on your answers. And you're going to use as many, if not all. If you can use all, that's okay. But as many of your words to create a story. And it doesn't have to have anything to do with your question. It could if you wanted to, but it doesn't have to. It could just be whatever story pops out as you look at your answers. So I'm going to put my timer on my phone.
And it could be in any order. It doesn't have to be in the order that it's written.
Right. However, you have total imagination and total creative license. So 2 to 3 paragraphs. It's okay if it's less. It's okay that it's more. You don't have to write a novelette here.
Okay.
Something that you can do, like say 8 to 10 minutes. I'll give you an 8-minute warning when we're 8 minutes in. I'm going to get my timer here, my trusty timer, to the 10 minute mark.
I hope y'all are taking part in this with us.
Yes. So I'm going to count you down. And we're going to go by this. So if you get done in 6 minutes, then we'll call it at 6 minutes kind of thing.
Okay.
But for those of you who need more of the time than Shari's using, or maybe she will use the 10 minutes, who knows? And I just say 10 minutes right now, because if it doesn't come within that time frame, it's not coming. You're thinking, and we want it to be natural. We really want it to flow.
So just free flow.
Free flow with it. And here's the thing. It doesn't have to make sense.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be continuous, right? But
Okay.
It could be, but it doesn't have to be. All right. In 3, 2, 1, and begin. So as you're doing this, just keep deep breathing. Deep breathing. Feel the aliveness, the excitement as the story unfolds. And as the story is unfolding, you're literally watching your creativity in action, your imagination in action, because none of this is happening right here, right now. Isn't it amazing to know that all your answers are within you, and you can do fun little exercises like this to get them? Don't worry about getting it right. You can't get it wrong. You're not going to hand them in for a grade.
Oh, forget it then.
Really do appreciate everybody here and everyone who's playing along with us. We do fun little things every week here. And I know that you can go back into the location where you're at and see all the previous episodes. I believe this is week 13. And make sure you give a round of applause for Shari always being in the hot fun seat. We're about 3 minutes in now, just to give you an idea. No rush, though. You got plenty of time for this to flow through you. It's almost like the pen or the pencil is going to take a life of its own, and you're just the one holding it so that it's legible.
Mercy. I asked her her age.
Oh, great. Just let it keep flowing. Keep deep breathing. The deeper you breathe, the deeper in your imagination, because the deeper you're going within yourself. So deep breathe.
Completed. 36.
If you are playing along with us and you're doing this, put a smiley face with a thumbs up in the message in the comments so that we know. And later on, if you want to take a screenshot or a photo of your list and post it here underneath in the comments, and a copy of the story you created, feel free to do that. Okay, we're about 4 minutes in now. I have to say, Shari is like one of the bravest persons I know, because she had no idea what we were doing here today. She just jumped right in with it. So really, when you start to realize that the answers that you seek aren't that hard, you're going to literally pull them out of thin air. And wait till you see what we do with this once we have the little story. And what's even better is after it comes to fruition, she can bring back the story, and we can only connect so many dots today, but it's only after it's happened that the real huge ahas of this process come to be. And when I was picking my 20 items, they just randomly came to me. It's not like I do these are the 20 items every single time. There are some that seem to make the list all the time, but it's just whatever 20 things I want to put in there.
Inspired her.
All right, we're halfway. We're halfway to that 10-minute mark.
Sorry, I had you on mute. How long?
We're halfway. Okay. We can hear you though.
No.
You can't hear us, but we can hear you.
It's a good thing I wasn't cursing or anything.
Oh, but if that's your creative process, that's your creative process. There's no right or wrong way to do this.
I feel like I'm back in school. I'm like, this is like writing creative stories that were so fun. Okay.
I promise I'm not going to put you on after class today or put you in the corner unless you want me to. Unless that's your thing, I'll be more than happy to send you to the corner, upside down on your head, facing the wall. Y'all are doing good. We got about 4 minutes left. He came over to say hi to her. Yeah, Zeke.
I see Declan's here. Should I bring him on or just keep writing?
Yeah, but yeah, he can. We can chit chat while this is going on. So while everybody's still composing there, we kind of got to be a little bit more soft and subtle right now. Have you been following along with us in the background? What we're doing?
I know you're writing a list of something.
Okay.
20 things that come to mind first.
Well, yeah, I read off 20 prompts, and they immediately had to write something down.
Okay.
And then from their answers, I've given them 10 minutes, and they're writing like a 2 to 3 paragraph story with their answers.
Oh.
Now, prior to all of that, they composed a question that they wanted answer today. And then they went 3 months after the done deal and gave gratitude from the done deal character of it happening. So that's kind of bringing you up to date. That's where we're at.
Got it. No small thing.
Yeah, that's all. Just life-changing things that, answers we're pulling out of thin air here. But that's just another day. But of course here.
But of course, exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing shocks me anymore. But of course, that's what you did. You got to that fast. Wow.
Well, we're already 40 minutes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, time's flying when you're loving what you're doing because time doesn't exist.
Yes.
Neither does speed, but you've experienced that today.
Right. Actually, someone was commenting on my one of my Facebook posts, and he said, "Are you sightseeing or are you working?" And I'm like, I'm not even going to answer that because why do I have to choose what I'm doing? I'm doing all of it, right?
Everything all at once right now. You know what? That's when you say back to them, which character you're talking to.
Exactly. Like this character gets to do all of it.
This little piggy went to market. This little character went to here. This little character.
Oh, he also said, "Are you working? Oh, one-way ticket? Are you working so you can afford to come home?" And I said, "Everything's already taken care of. What are you talking about?"
Very interesting questions you're receiving.
Yeah.
And they're helping you with your clarity. Look at that. How nice of those characters to show up out of their busy routine just to have a conversation.
Are you sure?
All right, we got about 90 seconds left, friends. 90 seconds. 90 seconds.
Dr. Margaret's in the house.
I see that. Hello, Margaret. Hello. No need to apologize. You are where you are. You're doing what you're doing. Come as you are in all of your glory, however you can, wherever you are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just babbling.
So I'm in Lisbon now, which
Nice.
is totally different from Porto. It's more like Chicago to New York City.
Well, if I had all these pictures to reference into, maybe I understand what that means. But I have to do puzzles to get pictures. You know what I'm saying? It's the only way I can get pictures all the time.
My view here, though, is stunning. I have the top floor, which in my view is the best room to be in because I'm facing this like gorgeousness.
Awesome.
But of course.
30 seconds, 30 seconds. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to be like a teacher and count you down and pens down, right? Everybody pens down. We got 20 seconds.
Okay. I think I got it all.
Well, since we're here, we might as well give the last 15 seconds.
Okay.
Take a couple breathers. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
3, 2, 1.
I did a little studio thing for the last three numbers. All right. All righty. Okay.
Well, for those who are just tuning in, let's share what has just been happening.
She did.
Facebook user, you're going to have to go back and watch I gave 20 prompts and it was sort of like a word association. If I said this, what came in your mind? So you're going to have to go back into the video and do that from the beginning because we don't have time to explain it here now. So we asked a question, right? We asked a question from our starting line. We made a appreciation statement from 3 months after the done deal. Then we did 20-word association. And from your answers, you're going to write about a 2 to 3 paragraph little story. It doesn't have to have anything to do with your question, whatever just flows when you look at those words. And in that story is your answer to your question. So since Shari, we're going to have you share your story. And it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be logical. It could be, but it doesn't have to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
so remind everybody,
this, except that I'm really rude.
Remind everybody what your initial starting line question was and what your done deal appreciation statement was.
So my initial question was,
and we niched this down. This was not the first asking of the question. It was probably about the third or fourth inception.
I gotta find my page now that I wrote it on. I lost my page. So it was, who is the person that's going to invest in my television show so that I can hire the team that I want?
Very specific with movement, right? Is a question with specificity for who and the reason why. Okay. And then your done deal 3 months after the fact appreciation statement was,
I'm so appreciative of my investor who believed in me and what I was bringing to the table, and allowed me to have 100% creative freedom.
Yeah. Awesome. And you also use the he vernacular. I don't know if you did at that time, but when you did your appreciation, you specifically said it was a he. Okay. Now, read your story, please. Okay, actually, real quick, go through your 20 words again.
Okay, so my words are Marcy, cat, housekeeper, 36, hammer, pizza, Coke, July, Leo, running, fame, walk, self-love, Rambo, money, $1 million, 3 months, Rose, roller coaster.
Okay.
Story time with Shari.
Story time with Shari.
Everybody sit back.
Beginning of her next novel. Beginning of her novel.
All right. So I found myself in line to go on a roller coaster, and the woman behind me was eating a slice of pizza. She looked at me and asked what I was drinking, and I told her a Coke. She then asked me if she could have a sip. I was unsure how to respond since I had no idea who she was, and so I asked her what her name was. I figured if I'm sharing my straw, I should know her name. She went on to tell me that her name was Marcy, and she's a professional runner. I asked her where she runs, and she told me she's completed 36 marathons, the last one in July. She also owns a housekeeping business, but cleans with hammers because she finds that the flat edge helps to get into areas that her dusting rag doesn't. She went on to tell me that cat fur can often be picked up with the hammer because of the static electricity. She has a husband named Rambo, and he teaches about self-love, which inspired her to finally follow her dreams of running, which has brought her some fame. So I figured it was time to give her some soda Coke mostly because I imagine her mouth must have gotten dry from all that talking. I'd pay her $1 million if she would just let me get a word in. We finally started to walk to the front of the line. It felt like 3 months on that line. She finally asked me what my name was, and I said Rose because I was afraid that she would come and find me. That's what happens when people know that you're famous. They want to share your drink.
There's a lot in there.
Yeah.
I know. I'm mean. I'm mean. I'm snarky.
How do you, and right now, so what we're going to do is we're going to open up the possibilities of how this person is going to find you based on what you wrote, because of all the things that you could have written, you wrote that, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel that this answers your question that you asked today?
That I need to go to an amusement park.
Well, let's look at all the things that you put in there as representations of energy.
Okay.
Right?
See, I don't think
So this journey is going to be fun, like an amusement park, right? Because there's so many different types of rides to choose from. You get the gist of this. Okay, keep going.
And so it's someone random that I would just be talking to, or that would just start talking to
me.
Doing
something that you enjoy, right? Because you don't get in line for a roller coaster if you hate roller coasters, right? So you're going to be able to interact with this person doing something that you love, that brings adventure, that takes your breath away.
Yeah.
You love roller coasters?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do. I haven't been on one in a long time, but I do love roller coasters.
And so, yes, Rich too. Yeah.
I'll go with you. Yeah.
You go with
okay.
There you go. Keep going. Let's dive into investigate a little bit more.
Yeah, this is the part that's challenging.
So we'll think about this. Did you start talking to her? Did she start talking to you?
No, she started talking to me. She brought the conversation up, and I inquired about her after she started talking.
And if you think about how symbolic this is, the very fact that you only missed one of the prompts, and the prompt was a male name.
I know. But I did make the male name, though, her husband Rambo instead of a pet.
Okay.
So I found that interesting. His name was Rambo.
Okay. So it sounds like that your person could have some affiliation with Coke or the Rambo series or something that you invoke with it. So this is only the stuff that you will only be able to know after they show up. But now you're opening up that level, because I feel like bringing in Coke as the drink, like that brand that is known worldwide. Everybody knows, right? So
Yeah.
you're opening up the energy for your outcome.
You gotta have a Coke and a smile.
Right? You're opening up the energy of your show and this opportunity to be that worldwide.
Mm.
Right? 36. Are we talking 36 seasons of the show? Are we talking, so all the things that you chose to put in here are very symbolic, because it's like that version of you that's already living it was helping you, because we tapped into the jump off version of you and we tapped into the done deal version of you, and they were co-creating and co-writing and co-authoring this experience as you went. How cool is that? So what else, Rich? How about, it's nice to also get somebody outside of the story's point of view. What stood out to you in Shari's story? Because you could also bring other people in and ask them for their input. So what stood out, Rich? Let's bring you into the conversation.
Well, definitely the roller coaster, because I love roller coasters and haven't been on one for a long time. So that, and I love Coke Zero. It's the only soda I will drink. And only in Europe, so because it's everywhere here. So Coke Zero. You said you'd pay her $1 million if she'd only shut up.
I didn't say it like that.
Okay, well, that's how I heard it, and so
I know.
Well, but think about the amount of wealth that you must have if you give $1 million to someone for something so.
Let me get a word in.
Right.
Yeah. So
wait, is that directed towards me? Am I going to be $1 million richer?
Well, not the way that you said it or whatever. What I heard when you said it was, of course you have $1 million, and you would if it wasn't like just a sarcastic comment. It was you actually do, and right, which means that you need so much more than $1 million from the person who is going to invest in your company.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's
but they will invest so much that you would have an extra $1 million to hush somebody if you needed to.
Yeah, and also just the whole concept of other people's money. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It's when you're when you're asking for investors, you're creating an opportunity that's an investment for them, and it has nothing to do with the actual bank account number that you have. So, but I liked how you picked $1 million.
and not only that, but right now, as you're doing this exercise, you are literally creating that person and the scenario for you two to rendezvous together. So if that person at this moment doesn't have that level of money, you're leveling them up to their level of that so that you can rendezvous, or they're going to, as you said in your thank you, give you carte blanche to do and how you want to do it and have total creative control. So do you see all these elements that we've been adding the whole time? How cool is that?
I love it. So how does someone who's watching, like, do they just have someone else give them words? And
they can use the words. They can use the words that we used here, but those like those refrigerator magnets, like you could get a box of those and pick out the words that could be really good prompts, or you could just create your own, put like 100 words in a hat and then just pick 20. And as you pick them, just as you're picking it, boom, boom, boom. That way, if you don't have someone else to play along with you. There's so many different.
I think it's really helpful. I think it's helpful to have someone play along with you, because they also see outside, like I wouldn't even known to think like, oh, it's going to be something fun. And then it's like, you know what I mean? Like how you saw the story, like in a different way than I would.
So when you do a dream interpretation, and maybe that'll be something we can do the next time I'm on, is, as you're going, so as I lead you through the interpretation, what do roller coasters mean to you? And I started to do that. They're fun, because for some people they're terrifying, right? So that's fun for you, right? And because it's always out of all the things you could have chosen, that's what you chose instantly before you could think.
As an event too.
Right. So, and that's the really cool thing there. This isn't random. You are now tapping into a specific universe with a specific outcome, and very symbolic that you didn't get the male name prompt, right? But we don't want you to get hung up on the names. You've now, and the more you go back and read this story, and the more that you're able to interpret from it of, oh, this represents, what does the energy represent? Not what is it actually. It could be very literal, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
The more attention you give this, the more energy you're giving to the done deal, which is 3 months after the fact. How cool is that?
No, I love it.
All the pressure off of it.
Yeah, no, it was super fun. But so when someone writes, then, because I'm just trying to think about a viewer that might be, so if someone writes, then you encourage them to just write about anything. Doesn't have to be focused on, or should be thinking about the question and then
No,
write a story based on
no,
that.
it doesn't have to be, because then you're putting too much attachment. It's
Yeah.
just about I've given you 20 words, give me a story.
Yeah.
The only reason why we did the question ahead of time is because it's as you thought of the words that you did, as I said, the things, it's because the subconscious, who has the bigger picture, knew what words to send to you as the prompts come for you to write. So the story really shouldn't, it could, I'm never going to eliminate anything, but most likely your answers kind of wouldn't be that anyway. And you don't need to put extra pressure on it. Keep it light and simple. Keep it light and simple.
Like a hammer to pick up cat fur.
Oh, I like that part too.
And that's showing the level of creativity that you're going to be bringing to this project, that it's not logical things. So like that,
Out of the box.
Yeah, it really is. Like you're taking this to a whole new level, because in your storytelling, you're making things that don't normally go in baseline realities go here.
Yeah, and it was funny as I was writing that was tapping into with the stand-up that I'm doing, that we have to just be totally out there and random, and like, so that was
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I feel like the Maui song. You're welcome.
What'd you say, Rich?
That's when you were reading your story, I was like, you just did your comedy bits. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, except they have to be true stories for now.
Well, that is a true story. Don't say that. That is a true story. You just tapped into a future memory, my dear. You just tapped into a memory.
I'd love for those of you who have been watching what this experience has been like for you. Did anyone do theirs?
Please get me out of the spotlight, is what she's really saying.
No, I see the Jim Carrey thing I sent you yesterday in the messenger thread. I was like, duh, of course it's real.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm here to remind you of that. And then look how fast the hour just went.
I know.
And Rich, I would have loved to have you on for more, but time-wise, I knew we had to get in what we had to get in. But you're there. Yeah. And I'm still getting used to you clean shaven. Who is this guy? Right? I'm not used to all this. I'm going to show up with my hair down one of these days. Hello, folks. Hello, Facebook user. We don't know who you are. You're showing up as Facebook user. So hello. We do know you, but we don't know you, but we do know you.
Here comes in the joy magnet, but I'm sure you're beautiful and lovely, and we appreciate your presence here with us.
Yes. So I highly recommend doing this, going back. Rich, if you weren't here for the whole time,
I'm going to go back and watch.
Go do it. It's
I already have my question that was actually prompted by Shari's question. So I already have the question.
Yeah, and if you want to send it to me in Messenger so I can take a look at it, make sure it's niche down enough for you, I'll be more than happy to do that for you. Okay. Right? If people here, if you put your question in the comment section and you want my eyes to look at it, tag me. So that I can come and I'll say, go. I'm not going to give you the answer, but I'm going to say niche down more. Yeah. Yep. I'll be more than happy to do that. And feel free to tag me. Yes. Yep.
Okay. And so really quickly, how can they find you? This is your links right here. And they just tag you, Denise Power.
Yeah. It still said however it's spelled, it still said Powernick.
I know. I just want them to be able to know that. So because you don't have
POWERNIK. So I will put and they can join us in the Invincible CEO Circle. I do have a live going on live at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. TheInvincibleCEO.com, the Invincible CEO Circle group here on Facebook. You can go to the Invincible CEO page. So many different places that you can find me.
Awesome. It's been great hanging out with you guys. It's been so fun. Yes. Thank you all for watching another episode of Thanks for Nothing. Next week, you'll be seeing me with the amazing Rich.
Oh, and I'll be off the coast. I'll be off the coast of West Africa for that one.
Nice.
Island of Madeira.
And I'll have my presence behind the scene going, they better get it right.
Our little global traveler, our little globetrotter.
Yes, I'm so excited for your ventures this week.
Bye, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye.